Hi, my name is Jacob, and I'm here sitting with Will. He's a great friend of mine, and he owns a couple businesses in Austin. He also has a lot of influence on how Hens Bread and Amigo Booth started. So you're going to hear in the conversation a lot of entrepreneur spirit. If that's for you, I'm happy you're here. Will, do you mind just talking a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, I started a business when I was 21 in college. The moving company needed an income to pay rent. Really, I mean that's how it started. Then it turned into a passion. I like to help people. I like to help people move. From there, started renting trucks, U-Hauls. That was a grind, and eventually bought my first truck, and now I'm really in business. So. We've got a couple trucks, and we do moving all across Texas. We do moves to Miami a bunch. We specialize in from Austin to Miami for whatever reason. That just seems to be our niche, and we're here to move.
Will, if you don't mind for the podcast, since I know you so well, I'd like to start from the beginning. One of the things I love about your story is I think it was like the second or third year of college at Texas State where your parents said, we're not paying for you, and you had to get a job, and you're like, I'm not working for somebody.
Right. So, yeah, I mean, I basically, I'd always had to pay for my school. I've been helped by my grandma with tuition and books. And my parents helped me out on rent. And then, I got cut off, and, I needed money quickly. I had to pay my rent, or else I was going to have to drop out of Texas State. And I wanted to finish and get my degree. So, I just came across this with a friend, actually showed me moving. He showed me the old school way of putting little flyers on people's doors, which I think some people look down on that a little bit. But, man, when you're starting a business from scratch and you have nothing, like, you have to get creative. So that's what I did. I went to the Texas State Library. I printed out these little cards with our information and phone number on there, put them door to door, and then people started calling. And next thing you know, I could do one or two moves and pay my entire rent. My rent was like $375 at the time.
Yeah.
So, one or two moves, and I was in business, and then I could pay for school. The harder I worked, obviously, the more money I had. So I like the direct relationship of being able to work harder and earn more. So that's, as a business owner, I think that's the most important thing for me.
Yeah. And you're a hard worker. I went to hang out with you over the summer, and it seemed like you were always taking phone calls. So now I hear your beginning. It seems like when I was hanging out with you, you had these goals of what you want for your business next year. What do you have in store for? And can you talk to me about what your business is named?
Well, yeah. So Sarver Movers. This is our logo. It started out. We were like, basically, starting out. You don't have anything. I was running from U-Haul. I had no capital, no assets. So coming from the bare minimum, just saving money, and you have to work hard. I mean, because if you're not putting everything into the business 24/7, it's gonna slip away from you. People will quit hearing about you. You always have to be getting new business. You always have to pick up the phone. You always have to be on. So that's the thing. People talk about, like, oh, I want to have a small business, but it's not a 9 to 5. You don't just, at 5 p.m., you know how it is. Yeah. At 5 p.m., you don't just stop filming. I mean, maybe you do, but in your head, you're thinking about the next project. Yeah, you don't just get to check out of work. So you always have to be on. What was the question?
Well, about what you have stored for your company next year.
Oh, right, yeah. So setting goals. So in the beginning of this thing, I wanted to have 2 trucks in one location. Now we have 2 trucks. We've got an office, and we're starting to do storage. And so now the new goal, every year I review last year's goals, and I try to look forward. I look and I'm like, oh, like we did the 2 trucks, did the office, set those goals, reached them, and now we're trying to look forward for the new goals. New goals are to have another office and 2 more trucks. So my final, back in the day, I started, my main goals were to have 2 locations, one North Austin, one South Austin. And once I get that, man, just maintain.
Yeah.
That's all I want. I want to cover my city that I love and just be able to move everyone in Austin. And yeah, I mean, that's my goal.
Now, for the listeners, they might think like moving is boring, but I feel like I've gotten some of my best business tips by sitting with you because you've had to figure it out and you found an industry that never, like, it's always going to be there.
Yeah, that's the most important thing. I mean, honestly, got lucky because for whatever reason, I'm in Austin, Texas, and for whatever reason, Austin's blowing up. I mean, everyone's moving here.
Mm-hmm.
So people move here. And then sometimes we move them right back out the next year. I mean, if it's hot. It's hot in Texas. Not everyone's equipped for that. Not everyone expects that. So, you move someone in, you move someone out, but there's always someone moving to Austin, around Austin. Most people move like 1 to 2 times every couple years. There's a stat out there. I think it's like people are going to move on average 6 times in their life. But that's probably on the lesser end. We move some people 2 or 3 times a year, just for whatever reason.
Yeah, like you have a friend that moves every year.
Yeah, every year. And I moved when I'd find a room on Craigslist, I lived in Parmer for 6 months, Parmer Lane, then moved down to South Austin, moved downtown. I moved a lot myself. So there's a need for it. Everyone in Austin's moving. So it's not a bad business.
Can you talk to me about when you took this idea of, this will pay the bills when I'm going to school, to like, I can actually provide for a family on this?
Right. So that didn't come up till way later, right? Because I started moving in college. This was never supposed to be the thing I did. Like, this was, man, at some point, I just remember like working, my back hurt. It's 108 degrees for like the 20th day in a row. And you remember how it is, because I hired you to do some of those jobs. It's tough. It's a hard-ass job. Like, no one wants to do it. That's why people pay. It's a luxury service. That's why people pay good money an hour, In the summer, we're charging $155 an hour, and sometimes more in some cases. So, yeah, I mean, you have to really not want to move to pay someone, and people don't want to move. But to answer your question, this was never supposed to be the end thing. I wanted to always moved to Denver and grow marijuana, and that's what I did. I moved to Denver, got in the marijuana industry, learned to grow, but unfortunately, I didn't have the capital. If you want to be like, if you want to be in that industry, you need to have backers, you need to have lots of capital. And again, I just didn't have any money, so that didn't work out. So I moved back to Austin, and then I got a real job, selling mortgages. Learned a lot in sales with that, but that just wasn't fulfilling to me. You know what I mean? I don't like to come to work and, I want to be either in the marijuana industry or I want to work for myself. And so I had to X that out in Denver. It didn't work out. Came back to Austin, started the company, decided I'm going hard on this. Like, I'm doing this for real.
Yeah.
And that's what you see, because you've seen both sides. You saw me in college kind of just hustling, paying rent. And then but now you see me with the real, we've got the trucks, like I said, fully insured, everything's legitimized. So that process was like a 7-year process, and it was tough. It was a grind. But I'm glad that I found moving in Austin. So
yeah, and you're expanding into other, like, you discovered warehousing is another. So you're able to scale your business in that you already have your supplies, but then you're going into these avenues that you didn't think were making money.
Yeah, I mean, I never thought that I would be into storage, but yeah, I mean, now we can store people's household goods in our warehouse, and then we've also expanded into Trash Dash, which is another company. It's just junk removal. So basically, if you have a relative who's a hoarder and you want to clear their house out, or they need their home back, we come in, we take everything out, take things to Goodwill, dispose of them however you want us to, recycle items. It's green friendly. I mean, that's what Austin's all about. And yeah, that's moving has turned into, like, I've just seen the possibilities. Like, you can do anything. Like, if you start your own business and you just don't quit, you will eventually be successful. I don't care what anyone says. Like, if you just grind it out and don't quit, you can't fail.
Yeah. I remember that you would tell me when because I did moves with him, and he goes, ideally the goal is to do 2 moves in one day. And I kind of looked at it, I was like, is that even possible? Do we have the manpower for it? Is there even enough people in town?
And you're like, but my back hurts. I don't want to do it. That's me. I'm like, wait, we have a 3rd job today? Like, because keep in mind, I'm not, in the beginning, I'm not just like, I wouldn't send people out to do my work for me. Like, I was on that truck for 5 or 6 years
and
myself.
You'll pick it up if you need to.
Oh, dude, when someone quits, you get Sarver of Sarver Movers. I hop on that truck and I go. I mean, I'm not messing around. Like, I'll be on the truck, I'll do the work. I don't care. And I've decided until I'm like in my 40s or until my back doesn't work anymore, I will be on the truck if I need to, you know, because we've never not showed up to a job ever. We've always been there because I think a lot of owners will just be like, oh, like, you know, someone quit on me, and we get calls all the time from other customers saying like, hey, my movers didn't show up. Like, someone no-showed me. And I'm assuming that means someone at their company quit and their owner wouldn't hop on the truck themselves, or at least their dispatcher wouldn't hop on the truck themselves and go do the job. Like, no, we're going to do the job.
Right.
So that mentality separates us from the competition.
I want to go back to the beginning really quick where you said, hey, I like helping people.
Yeah.
Can you talk about your founding Collab 512?
Yeah. Collab 512, as you know, which you're pretty much at the head at, you know, co-founding that. Like, that's for entrepreneurs in Austin to get together to do what we're doing now, have this conversation, because dude, you've learned a lot from me. I've learned a lot from you. I've seen you and Hinsbread take off like in a short amount of time. All I saw you do was just say, you know, I'm quitting my city job. I'm doing this. Like, those are the 2 things. I remember telling you, man, you should stick around to, like, you had to get some
spring.
Yeah, stick around till spring to get some, I don't know, some other benefits or whatever. But you were like, no, I'm going. And that's what.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Like, if I stayed for another year, I would have been vetted. And I was like, nah.
You're like, nah. You're like the safe route, or just like chase this dream. Like, so good for you on that. But you know. 512, Collab 512 is for, you know, it's for people like that who want to do that, who are tired of their day job. They want to get together. They want to talk about business and grow that in that direction.
Right. Yeah. Collab 512. The reason why I asked you about that is because I feel like I know you as a business owner a little bit, but knowing about like how you're able to change, to adapt, like to grow your business is the avenue I'd like to talk about really quick.
Yeah.
And one thing that I thought was really cool, so I'm going to keep saying this. The moving business, you would not think that it's like as big as it is, but there's like groups that you're part of that not only helped you know what you're doing, but then there's also like technology that's out there that's intended for moving industries, like that 3D one where you send it off to the customer so they can figure out how much they have.
Yeah. So I mean, man, just from the time that you've seen me like just rent U-Hauls is what I used to do. I mean, it was just like me and whoever I could, one of my friends who wasn't doing anything that day. From that time, now we have like a CRM, customer relationship management software. We've got a website that's optimized, for SEO, and then the CRM's linked up to our website, so they can go. There's a graphical view on our website. They instead of just typing in your name, first, last name, and email, you click. Oh, there's a couch. It's a picture of like a living room, and the customer can click. Oh, I got 2 of these chairs, one side table, a couch. Some pictures, whatever. They can click on things and show us what they have. It's a sophisticated way to go about moving in Austin, Texas. Yeah.
So using that, you don't charge the customer to use it. You spend money because you saw the overall benefit.
Oh yeah, that's thousands of dollars just so they can. But it does other things on the back end for the back end user, which is us. It organizes all of our jobs. It allows us to send the paperwork that we're required to through the state of Texas to each customer so they can sign off on their estimate and then pay their $100 deposit, which goes towards the total. Sarvermovers.com/quote. Check it out. And so basically it allows everything to be organized. And I found out about that CRM software through this Facebook group I'm on. Moving Company Owners United. And yeah, I mean, that's the guys on there. It's just owners from across the country. And if you're starting a business or looking into starting a business, check out Facebook groups. Check out like videography owners across America. I don't know if that's a thing, but if you're looking into some business, there's going to be a Facebook group full of people. And I never thought I'd like advise this to someone, but it's really helpful. Like these guys showed me the way. They told me about the CRM. They told me, you know, how to get a good loan when the PPP was.
Yeah, no, you told me, hey, I got approved. I was like, what?
Yeah, man. Like,
you got approved?
Yeah, I mean, but you know, if you like, I had the employees. They're like, yeah, you've got employees. You spend this much on payroll. Like, you know, there's just it's just huge resources out there. You just have to go look for them. Like, I felt like I was alone. I felt like, what was I going to do? Go to another business owner? And I did this. I called other people just for advice. But some people will help you. But, you know, you just got to, don't be discouraged and constantly be looking for resources.
When we sit down, I feel like the amount that we gain from like talking to each other about how to grow the business and everything, I couldn't even put a price tag on that. But we just do it because we just buy a cup of coffee. Yeah. Right?
Yeah, I mean, Collab 512, meet up at a coffee shop, talk about business. I mean, what could you possibly? This is what I don't get about some people. They're like, someone might hear about that and say like, oh, I don't want to go do that. You know,
I'll tell my secrets.
Like, yeah, like what? Like, dude,
you got no secrets.
You got no secrets, guy. Look,
we found you out.
like all your secrets, you need to help other people because they will turn around and help me. I've helped you move. Yeah. I've helped, and you've helped me with it. You know, my website, all this other stuff. My accountant, I helped him move. He helped me with my taxes. You know, but not even that. Just industry knowledge. Like there's only stuff to gain by talking to other people, communicating with other business partners. Don't be stingy with your information. There's actually, I'm not going to say it's a study, but there's something out there. I forgot what it is, but basically, all successful entrepreneurs have this one trait in common. They focus on helping other people, mostly. That's what they do. And think about it.
It comes back tenfold.
It all comes back. If everyone at the top has, you know, this trait in common, helping other people, you know, that's a no-brainer. You need to do that if you want to be successful. So that's what I focus on. Anyone who has a business, I want to help them.
Can I tell you about the most recent thing I learned from you?
What's up?
So this is pretty big in the sense that your experience did a lot of the talking, but your emotional intelligence is way bigger than when you first started. So Will recently moved his website to another server, right? And he asked me to help him. And I am a videographer, not IT tech. I can do the best job that I know how to do, but I am not like, I don't have a certificate in it.
He doesn't, but he's low-key a genius at technical stuff. He's not saying that.
I'm good at technical stuff. Yeah. But I do have to point out that there was, when you were moving your website, it didn't happen right away. There was a down period of maybe 8 hours. And I would have been livid. I would have been so pissed, right? Because hey, I could probably get somebody at 3 a.m. that I didn't know, right?
Yeah, you're missing out on business.
And then now that one time they go to the website, it's down, and they're like, oh, these guys are probably down. What you showed me in that is like, it's going to work itself out. Like, so instead of getting bent out of shape about something, Will was like, I got another job I got to do. Like, I can't be focused on this thing.
It's funny that you say that because I learned that from another entrepreneur that I moved. This lady, she buys diamonds and creates jewelry out of it. I mean, she's successful. She was moving, I don't know, out of state somewhere. We helped her move. She told me, she was like, you know what, like, if something goes wrong, what can you do about it? Why stress about it until it really becomes a problem, like with a customer? I can't think of an example, but what if you had a customer and you knew in your mind like something was wrong, like, okay, you know, when that comes up, you'll deal with it. But between now and Wednesday when the job comes or, you know, between now and then, if there's nothing you can do, like if you can't call the customer and talk to them about it and smooth things over or let them know, I don't know. If you're in a situation where you just simply can't do anything about it, like just don't fret on it, man. Because at the end of the day, I mean, I knew my website would be back up the next day. I just had to wait, I mean, there's nothing I could do. So, yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, sometimes it's out of your hands. And that's the toughest part about being an entrepreneur. The world would, we've had like 4 catalytic converters stolen off our trucks.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's $3,000 each, I mean, what are you going to do? Like, I can't. So I upgraded security. They broke through the chain link fence with the razor wire. They still stole them. Like at some point, you just have to accept, like, this is a part of business. Now I have to have a warehouse where I can park my trucks and keep a big, scary dog in there to hopefully prevent these thefts that keep happening. But, I mean, that's just a part of business.
And then when you talk to me about something, what I've learned, it goes through the roof because you've failed like 4 times.
Yeah.
For you to be like, no, seriously, this is how it goes. So if I don't listen to you, that's like failing 5 times.
Yeah. Yeah, learning off of someone else's experiences. Dude, and you're good at that. And you gotta, even if you're not good at that, like I'm not that good at that. I can't look at someone's experience. Usually I don't really learn from other people's mistakes. I have to put myself through it for whatever reason. Mm-hmm. But if you're someone like yourself who can look and be like, okay, this guy failed this way, I'm going to make sure not to do that. Yeah, that's a huge skill. Mm-hmm. So learning from other people's mistakes is key.
Yeah. Do you have somebody, like, in the entrepreneur world, like, I look up to Elon Musk. I mean, me and him do not have the same background, but, like, I like people that bet on themselves and they succeed. Whether they lose or the story is so great. Do you have somebody that you like to listen to or look up to?
Yeah, I got 2 people in mind. One is my good friend Zach. He ran a moving company in San Antonio. He knows the game. He put me on to moving in college. He saved my ass. I mean, rent was due in like 5 days, and I was like, man, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm not kidding. I remember being like, dude, like it's crunch time, and he was like, this is what you do. Print out these flyers, put them on people's doors. I was like, man, that's looked down on. Like, people aren't going to like it. And he's like, at the end of the day, when rent's due, it doesn't matter. Right. Who cares I don't care if soliciting is looked down on. Or, like, what? They're not going to pay my rent. I have to go create that opportunity for myself. So he's a big one. Another person is Tyree. He owns GoGoBrakes.com. GoGo Brakes. It's mobile brake repair in San Antonio. Mm-hmm. So if you need brakes, check that out. He comes up to Austin too. Rates are great. But yeah, I've seen so many examples where just in conversation with him, he'll talk about this, that, the other. Hey, make sure you get this. Make sure there's a quote button on every page of your website. You wanna funnel all your traffic to the quote page. Little tips like that. But yeah, I look at his day-to-day experiences. He's been in business for himself over like 15 years now. Mm-hmm. Like just having someone in your corner like that, is powerful. Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's
so I look up to them. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean those guys. Anyone who's done it, even if you might not agree with them, or maybe you're like, oh, I don't know, maybe you don't have anything in common with someone. They're still a business owner, man. You can still learn something from them. You know what I mean? Or if it happens, these 2 guys I mentioned happen to be my good friends. I have a lot in common with them. That worked out. But I'm just saying, like Elon Musk, you might not have a lot in common with him, but hey, you got to give it to him. The guy came out of nowhere and created an empire. So, I mean, there's lessons to be learned from him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I think with the podcast, we're sitting about 25 minutes. Which is pretty solid.
Really?
I think.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, you feel good?
I feel great.
Swig. He decided, I called him last night. I said, hey, look, I need people on the podcast. And he goes, I'll be there in the morning. I've never gotten a text before I woke up. Like, that was like for that day. And it's really early.
Yeah, where were you at 5:30, bud? I woke up at 5:30. I was like, I'm going to text him immediately. I got to let him know. I'm there.
Oh, my God, dude. If you did that, I would have hopped out of bed. I would have been like, Lou, we're walking later.
Dude, hell yeah.
Yeah, so it's early in the morning and we're already getting things done. I think the podcast, this episode, I feel like I learned a lot about you. Do you mind if I talk about how your influence to Hens is? Because
Absolutely.
so just like how you're thankful for Zach and Tyree, Hens would not be as successful if it wasn't for you. So for the viewers out there, this guy posed a single question to me. If you are a videographer or an entrepreneur, this question I think about all the time. I was thinking about going legit, getting the LLC, and he was telling me it was after a big event, and he goes, "Do you think the W is going to Venmo you?" And the answer to that is no, they're not. They're like, they want to pay, they want it on their invoices. If you want to be consistent, you got to go legit. And I think for sitting across from you, the viewers are like, why is a moving business and a video business sitting next to each other? And all the advice is the same. Like how to run a business and how to be successful it feeds the same. We're just doing different professions.
Yeah.
So, Will, you did a great job helping Hens be where it is. Like the idea of having like an office wasn't a thing until you showed me your office.
Dude, and look at your office.
Yeah.
This place is badass.
Yeah.
So congrats.
Thanks, man. Yeah.
But on that note, I mean, and for anyone trying to start a business, I mean, honestly, I feel like people look at starting a business as like this big daunting task, which
it is based off like our experience. Like
it is.
It's not a 9 to 5.
No, it's a grind, but you don't have to be Walmart. Don't expect to be Don't expect to be like Whole Foods in your first year. Don't think you need $1 million loan. Like if I had $1 million loan back when I was 19 and starting, in the moving thing, I'd have blown that money. I'm glad that I had nothing in the beginning because now I appreciate my trucks that I own. I take care of them. Like I had, when you have nothing and then you create it for yourself as opposed to just getting a loan. I mean, I tried to get a loan. They wouldn't give it to me, but I'm glad that happened because, you appreciate things more, having to rent the trucks cost me a lot of money. I was paying so much money to U-Haul, Penske, all these people that now I don't pay. I pay to myself, but I had to go through years of that to finally get that first truck. Mm-hmm. And then when I got that first truck, it was breaking down, etc., whatever. Now I have then I got my first new truck, and then it's like that gradual path of just appreciation. That's what you could call it. Exponential appreciation. The more I have,
I like that
the more I have, the more I appreciate. So, and that you can only get that through hard work. And
started from the bottom, now we're here.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I like that Walmart example a lot because I was thinking about it like just recently about how if you wanted to get like a charger for a battery, right? There's not like you could go to Walmart or Target, but if they don't have it, you have to remember that there's little like mom and pop shops. Like there's one down the road.
Yeah.
That's what they do, and if it wasn't for them, you'd be totally like waiting on a major company to decide when you get it. So it's those little businesses that exist that people forget about it a little bit. Think of it like a restaurant. Like there's not like major chains all over. There's still family-owned restaurants. The same with every industry.
And they're better, aren't they? I mean, dude.
The owner will give a shit. They'll talk to you.
What's the place you took me to over here? Las Chalapas or something like? There's a Mexican restaurant over here, dude. I mean, would you rather go there or go to Taco Bell? I mean, it's the same price, dude. No, the restaurant is way. Maybe
Can we get a different example?
Maybe I'm asking the wrong guy. Would you rather go there or Sonic? Do you like Sonic? Hopefully not.
I'm not a big Sonic guy.
I'm not. I worked there for 3 years. I'm not either. But yeah, would you rather go? My point is like you get a better experience at the little local spot than you would at the big chain. I mean, the food's gonna taste better. It's going to be probably, okay, if it's more expensive, so what? Like, I mean, come on, man. Like, anything that's more personal that I've learned, anything in business that's more personal is much better. Mm-hmm. Like, we all love Amazon. What happens when you call Amazon customer service? You don't
get to talk to Bezos?
Dude, you don't get to talk to Bezos.
Put Bezos through.
Bezos, where you at? Yeah. Like, he's not... My point is, nothing is as personal as it was. So as a small business owner, you have that major advantage. You just need to realize, like, if I can find a way into people's hearts really and try to, you know, make a real connection, that is so much more valuable than any price cut, any discount you could offer, you know?
Yeah.
So be a good, real person. And like, I don't know, man. I see other people who have failed. They've started businesses, moving companies specifically, just because I know people who have. And through dishonesty and hidden fees and stuff like that, dude, they go out of business. Maybe they make good money one summer, but people don't call back. There's no repeat business.
Right.
Without repeat business, you know, you've got nothing. So you have to be a good person. Like, you have to try to be a good person at least. And
it's tough. Like, I don't know if
I'm not saying I'm a phenomenal person by any stretch. I'm just saying, like, business ethics are very important. Is all I'm saying.
100%. Yeah. Will, man, I think you ended on a really great note, and I don't even want to try and top that. Thanks for coming on to the show. Really appreciate it.
Swig.
Swig. If people want to hire you or get to know you, can you just talk to the camera really quick, like where to find you?
Yeah, go to sarvermovers.com, S as in Sam, A-R, V as in Victor, E-R, movers.com. And then check out Trash-TX, Trash-TRASHDASHTX.com. We can do junk removal, commercial debris, haul off, anything like that. Moving side, we do commercial, residential, and storage. So hit us up.
Great. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you.